wanted to look at my timeline and see if it were even possible. So I think I've been studying for about 2 or 3 weeks now in total, but just in the beginning, it doesn't feel like totally, great. So I'm planning on taking the November LSAT, which gives me 3 full months, not including the rest of July. And I'm hoping to get a 170. So I don't know if that is something that's possible with like consistent studying. I'm able to commit a lot of time to it, at least until school starts up again in the fall, which is August 29th. So do you think that's doable?
Definitely, especially if you add in that consistency, if you're able to keep it up and go as deep as you need to.
Okay. So with the 3 months, which avenue would you suggest in the website? I noticed that there's different. So you have like the day-to-day plans, month 1, month 2, month 3. So do I do the month 3 one if I have a 3-month
Yeah,
plan?
so use the 3-month plan. The foundational section of the course, which contains the study plan breakdowns, that gives you the basics. And then the workshop section is where you'll find the full-length class recordings, as well as the links to join the live classes. And so I would definitely want you to attend live classes, watch the recordings as well to go deeper in any particular area.
Okay. And when do you recommend taking like a diagnostic full-timed exam? Like how far into the study process would that be?
It would be after you've at least gotten a general overview of each section and each question type.
Okay. With what I've done so far, I think I'm most comfortable with reading comprehension just because I feel like that's what I do most out of all of them. And the weakest on logic games and then logical reasoning falls somewhere in the middle of that. If I'm weakest on logic games, should I focus more on that in the beginning, or should I still balance out how much time I'm spending on each section?
Well, I wouldn't do a third if you know that logic games gives you more trouble. I would maybe decrease the reading count and increase the logic games.
Okay. And should I start by going through the videos or start by trying to attack the logic games on my own first? Because I don't want to develop bad habits in the beginning and try to solve it myself and then, diagram in a weird, incorrect way or something in the beginning.
Yeah, so that's one concern you raised that's valid. The other is that I want you to study effectively. I don't want you to take on doing more and more logic games before learning the strategies that are going to work for you. So go through the lessons covering ordering games, for example, and then apply what you learned there to several ordering games to practice and drill it. And then do the same with grouping games and so on.
Okay. And in terms of do you give advice on the application process?
Yeah, sure. I can give you some guidance on that now. We also have weekly admissions sessions in the course and consultants as well who could give you more specific advice, but I'm happy to take any questions you have on it now. I'll do what I can.
Okay. So I'm hoping to do early decision if I can, but I'm not going to do it unless I'm satisfied with my LSAT score, of course. And it opens September 1st and it ends January 15th. I was originally going to take it in October, but I want to give myself the extra month to be, a month more prepared for the exam. So do you think November is a good time to take it if the deadline is January 15th? Because I want to be at least earlier in the cycle. Is it still early in the cycle if I do it in November?
November is early enough. I'm curious though, with early decision, are you talking about binding early decision?
I am talking about binding early decision. Of course, that's just because I want the best chance of getting into the school. But yeah, I am talking about binding. I am, of course, going to apply to other places. I'm looking at Penn Law specifically. I just really like their program and stuff and the location and everything. So these seem to have good outcomes. Do you have any experience with Penn Law? Any information about it?
Yeah, one of my former students is actually going there this fall. So, I mean, it's a great school. I can say only positive things about it based on what I've seen. Regarding early decision that's binding, though, my question for you would be: is scholarship money something that's important to you?
It is. That is the one drawback, because obviously you don't know how much you're going to get, and then it's binding, so you have to do it. And they're a law school, so they'll sue you. They're good at that.
Well, I don't know if they'll sue you, but I get your point. I mean, the thing though is that
they know what to do.
I mean, you lose any scholarship negotiation leverage you might have otherwise had if you apply binding. So
yeah,
I would give that a second thought and maybe just consider applying to several schools and seeing what happens. Yeah. I mean, I know that you obviously you want a top school, otherwise you wouldn't be talking Penn Law, I'm guessing, but I would apply to a wide range, and just if you get the highest score possible, then that'll open up the doors for you.
And I guess my next question I will definitely consider that. Thank you. And I have thought about that a little bit. It's just, I think I'm tunnel vision of like, can I get in? I want the best chance of getting in, but scholarship money is obviously a big factor. When in the admissions process, they're weighing the GPA and the LSAT, is there one that's considered more, or does it depend on the school, or is it just, the package, the admission package as a whole? How does that work?
LSAT's typically considered more. So it's LSAT,
Okay.
then GPA, then everything else. It's a very numbers driven process, unlike undergraduate college admissions.
And then underneath the videos, you have, example questions from like past practice tests. And I have like a good number of the prep test books. I wasn't able to find the very beginning ones. So the ones in the 20s, I think there were ones that you listed that were in the 20s. Do I just find that on Amazon?
Yes, you have a few options here. I mean, you have the books on Amazon. The ones in the 20s are on Amazon. I have a list of the prep tests on my site, or if you just search on Amazon, 10 actual official LSAT prep tests, they have volume 1, volume 2, volume 3. Each of those volumes contains a different set of 10 exams. But the LSAT is online now. And so I actually would recommend using the online system to do your practice work, not the books. So there's a Law Hub system that you could use from LSAC.
Okay. So the actual LSAT exam, the not Flex, which I assume now it's no longer Flex, that will be online?
Yeah. So it's still online.
Okay.
The only thing that's changed is the name. They've removed the Flex name and they're adding in an unscored experimental section. So that's why it's going to a 4-section format rather than 3.
Has it always been that way? Has it always been in recent years how you do it online other than the Flex, or is this the first time it's not Flex and also online?
This is the first time it's not Flex and also online. So I know it's confusing. So it used to be in person, of course. Then March 2020, everything happened. They moved it online for the Flex, but they're removing the Flex name. They're changing the format slightly, but they're still keeping it online for the foreseeable future. And so that's why I'm suggesting that you do the majority of your prep test work, not in the books, but instead using LSAC's Law Hub online system, which accurately depicts the look and feel of what you're going to experience on test day.
So when you're taking, I assume you go to the test center now do you go to a test center now?
You don't. So it's online.
Oh,
yeah. Okay. So it's online at home from your own computer.
And you're allowed scratch paper?
You are.
Do they look at the scratch paper first? I assume there's the proctor you.
Yeah.
So you have to have specific paper.
Yeah. So you're right.
So sorry, I'm asking that because I'm wondering what paper I should be, because I want to obviously mirror what I'm going to experience on test day. So is it lined paper? Is it plain printer paper? Do they have a specific preference?
Great questions. I mean, you're asking all the right things here. So it's paper. It's for the Flex, it was 5 sheets, 10 pages, double-sided. Presumably they're going to let you have a bit more now that they're adding a 4th section. They haven't disclosed at this point the exact number of pages you'll have. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably 7 pages, 8 pages, just doing the math on that, approximating it. They allow you unlined or lined or graph. So they don't specify what it has to be. It could be any of those. So lined is good, unlined is good. Graph or grid paper is also fine. They also haven't specified the size. A lot of people have been able to use legal sized paper appropriately for the LSAT rather than just your standard 8.5 by 11. Of course, proctors may not know about this, but I haven't heard of any issues with it.
So seeing as I will be taking the no longer LSAT Flex, the regular LSAT, but now online, and I will be in the same pool of admissions with people who probably did take the LSAT Flex, does that put me at a disadvantage?
That's a very fair question. It's the question that LSAC does not want you to ask, but I don't mind. I don't mind you asking it though. So you're right that a lot of people got a boost from the Flex. LSAC underestimated how much easier it would be to do it at home and online, and 3 sections dealing with the environment and the endurance factors changing there naturally. It is a difference, but it is what it is. Just get the highest score possible. That's all you can do. I'm not going to say it's like a radical difference. It's not like they took the baby LSAT and you're taking the real LSAT. It's not quite that stark a difference. It's more moderate, and not everybody benefited from Flex. It was only in certain situations, but they are learning and making adjustments along the way. But Just
Okay.
study as much as you can.
So I would assume that that means that the average for the LSAT flex was higher
Yeah.
than it is usually. Okay. And in the admissions process, will they be able to see? I obviously will aim for the highest score that I can, but will they be able to see this person took the flex, this person took the not flex?
Yeah, they certainly can.
Okay.
And if nothing else, it'd be very easy for them to tell based on the date it was administered. They'll know this was a flex administration, this was a 4-section administration, but they have incentive to consider all schools scores equally because that's what goes to the American Bar Association. That's what goes to US News. So it is what it is.
So this is a never before to happen year, even this one, because now it's online, but no longer the flex. Okay.
Yes, this sort of transitional situation is definitely unique.
Okay. And is it also true, one more question, because I know I'm running out of time, but is it also true that this year there's, or I guess last cycle, there were 30% or something more applications sent out? So I guess that makes it more competitive also.
Yeah, so this past cycle was the most competitive in recent memory that I can certainly remember. And their applications have been way up. And of course, it's because everything was shut down. People had more time to study. Okay. So they thought, okay, I'll take the LSAT, I'll apply to law school. Obviously, there was a lot of political unrest with the election as well. So with the shutdown economically as well, people wanted to go to law school. So we can expect this next cycle will also be a bit competitive, maybe not as much since things are kind of reopening, but we'll see. Okay.
All right. Well, those are all the questions that I had. Thank you so much for meeting with me.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure. It was great to connect.
With you too. And the last question, really quick, the group meetings at night, do you recommend those immediately, like in the beginning of my studying, or once I have a little bit more of, grasp on everything?
You can join anytime. I recommend going to class, if for nothing else, then to connect with others and learn from the questions that they're asking.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure. Reach out if you need anything at all moving forward. I'm happy to help.
Okay. Good to see you.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I'll wish you all the best and take care.